Hello folks, and welcome back to Car Auto Care channel, auto care you can trust. Today we're going to be doing a video. It's basically a tool review, a recent purchase that I made on Amazon. Needed a smoke leak detector. Any of you that work in the automotive field probably familiar with the tool for testing leaks in intake systems, sometimes exhaust, particularly used a lot in evaporative emission control system testing and so forth. So when you get that engine light and it says tighten gas cap or something like that, that system is used to detect leaks that might allow fumes from your gasoline tank to get out into the atmosphere. And so that system is designed to capture those fumes in a charcoal canister. And then at times when the engine is ready for it, the engine opens a valve, the computer opens a valve, and the engine pulls those vapors from the charcoal canister and burns them through normal consumption, just like it would with the gas that's injected by your injectors. Anyway, I needed one of these tools. They can be very, very expensive. Of course, I've used the dealership tools that you get at a GM dealership. Requires a tank of nitrogen in a pretty expensive setup. I've also used the tools from like OTC to make the smoke tamer or leak tamer. It's a great tool. It's really a pretty good price on it. They're $500-600 usually. Depending on what accessories you get with it, they can go up from there. So I looked around and I found one on Amazon. Looked like it had really everything I needed, and so I wanted to give it a try. I have had it out a couple times. I have used it, just setting it up, testing it out, and then also I did use it on a vehicle, and it worked really well. Found the leak. It puts out a lot of smoke, so I was really impressed with that. A couple things I like about it is that it's pretty much self-contained. It doesn't require really anything else besides the oil, which is used to make the smoke. A lot of the tools, you've got to hook them up to compressed air and so forth. But anyway, I'll go over this one and some of the features and advantages of it that I found. The only thing we don't know right now about it is, longevity. I've only had it here for, a week or 10 days, something like that. Okay, folks. So this is the tool that I got. It's the Autool Smoke Diagnostic Leak Detector. You can see down there, model SDT-206. Like I said, I just found it on Amazon. Of course, you can see up here, made in China. Many things these days. But anyway, you can find that on Amazon if you're looking for it. It was just over $300. 300 some dollars with this particular kit. So I'm going to go ahead and get it set up and show you everything that it comes with here. 1 second, we'll be right back. So the first thing I'll actually show you here is it is really well packaged. It comes set up here. You've got your styrofoam. Pull that off, and there's the unit. As you can see, it's very small. I've got a couple bits that I've thrown in there, but it's a small compact unit. So this is your box with all your goodies, and I think what I'm going to do is lay everything out now that you can see it is packed well. That protects it in shipping and everything, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and set it up and show you a little bit about how it works and what it comes with. Okay, so here's everything out on the counter or on the table there, so you can see what all it comes with. So we'll come up here. First thing is it comes with your battery clamps. This gives it power. Just typically hook it up to the car's battery you're working on. Look like standard banana jacks. They fit right into the back here of the tool. Red positive, black negative. Don't cross them. Pretty easy. I will say they're a little bit short if you're wanting to inject smoke into the rear of the vehicle, like at a fuel tank. However, what I'm going to be doing is just getting some longer hoses so that I can still hang the tool up at the front of the vehicle and then run the hoses where I need to, and that way I don't need a longer battery cables. Another option is what I've got here today to show the tool is we've got the Durastart lawn and garden battery, off a lawnmower I don't use anymore, and we'll be using that. So that's an option as well. In addition to your battery clamps, this is your main injector here for your smoke. You can see one thing I really like, this cap. Those are all, so we can focus a little bit, those are all different diameter steps. So, you know, different size plastic tubes, you know, sometimes they're, you know, a rubber tube or something like that, you can kind of make something fit. But if they're harder plastic, like a lot of the EVAPS lines are, etc., this has a wide variety of diameters that run right up. It's pretty easy, the Velcro strap there, and this will show you how it connects here in a minute. But that's a nice little feature. You've got another one here. This one, you've got you know, your standard thread on the back. Hook it up. This tool here, it's also got, I've got this little guy here. Again, hook your hose in the back. Gives you some different options for injecting the smoke. Your caps, got those in various size. If you've ever tried to, you know, smoke an intake or something, you know, there's always an extra tube somewhere that you need to block off so you can you know, trap the smoke in the area you're testing. Then this is a very handy, most of them don't come with these. You know, it's pretty standard Schrader valve tool. But if you're not working on tires, you may not have one with you, but this one comes with the kit, so then you've always got one if, you know, if you need to remove a Schrader valve from your EVAP line up at the front of the vehicle. Then we've got some rubber plugs here, again, just for stopping off various you know, outlets and so forth. Now it doesn't come with the oil or the dye, but it does come with the little bottle there. And then I added just the little cup so that I can measure. Don't really need that. You've got your hanging hook, and just screws in up here. Makes it so you can hang it off the vehicle. You don't have to worry about it falling down and breaking, that sort of thing. Of course, you got an owner's manual, and I'll tell you, this right here was one of the main reasons I bought this. So pump this up, obviously that turn the valve, so we can pump this up, and doesn't take a lot. You can see right there already starts filling up. This is perfect for gas caps. A lot of times it can be hard to seal up the gas cap area, and if you don't have a specific adapter, it's hard to keep it from leaking and actually get the tool to work. So with this, you stick it right in there. And this is actually the vehicle that I did smoke with this. I used this, stuck it in the gas cap, and you've got pump it up, and then you just inject your smoke through this tube using your cone over here. So it worked really well. So that's a feature I really like. That also, you know, will work on a lot of intakes or different types, you know, pipe areas. So here is the actual tool. You've got, once you plug it in, your on button on the side turns that on. This is a drain valve, so they do want you to drain the oil after each use. It doesn't drain super well, but it just pours in at the top. Open your cap, pour in your oil. It's a fairly small capacity. They tell you, you know, in the 15 to 30 milliliter range. So it does down here have a little scale. Just pour it in so where you're somewhere between low and max. Air mode. So this thing, it actually has its own little compressor in it, and that's one of the nice things about it, is that you don't have an extra line, an air hose connected to the tool. So that way, when you're going out and you've got it sitting on the vehicle, or you're lifting vehicle up and down, or those kinds of things, it's just one less thing to get in the way. So when you turn it on, hit the air mode, and then when you're ready for smoke, you hit smoke, and then this is where you adjust your output. So you can see here, you got a plus and a minus. You can turn that up and down, and, you know, adjust the amount of actual smoke that you're getting. And then up here, this is your gauge, kind of your flow gauge or your pressure gauge. So when you've got the system sealed and there's no leak, once it fills up, this will begin to develop pressure. Your gauge will begin to go up, and you'll see that you're getting pressure. It says here in the owner's manual, if you're getting a pressure of 0, that means you've got at least a 0.3 millimeter size leak. So that's definitely a leak that needs repaired to make that system operate. I'll just talk a little bit about the oil. They give you a few different options in the book of oils to use. They're all pretty, simple, basic stuff. What I chose to use was baby oil. That's cheap, it's readily available. And so what I did was I got a bottle of baby oil, filled this up, and then I got some UV dye down a local auto parts store, for engine oil, that type of thing. And I just put a little bit of UV dye in with the baby oil and then mixed it up real good. And that way, even if you have a hard time finding the smoke, sometimes you can find the residue of the UV dye. Or if you're, depending on lighting, you might be able to use your black light and see the smoke better with the UV light. It does work pretty well, so no issues there so far. So 1 second, we'll go ahead and set this up. I'm going to try and get the camera set up where we can see it a little better, and we'll show you it in operation. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set the tool up. I'll show you just getting it filled, getting it connected and everything. First thing we'll do here is take our battery cables. By the way, if you haven't noticed, I am not a videographer, and I am not a professional filmmaker or anything like that, so you kind of get what you get. But hopefully you'll appreciate this. I didn't see any other videos out there on this tool, so this was an idea. If somebody else is looking to get one, you can hopefully find out if this tool might work for you or not. So I've got my oil here, pulled the cap off. We're just going to go down in there, give it a few squirts, and watch on the front. You will see in your graduated scale, which I'll show you, you can see the fluid as it comes in. So go down here. You can see there, not focusing very well, but you can see, it keeps track of, lets you know how much you've got in there. Put the cap back on the top. Now, one of the things that you need to do before we connect to power, you can do it whatever order you want, but we're going to go ahead and set up our hose. Going to connect the main one. I think this is one I'll be using the most with the cap on here. So what we've got, pull that off, slide it over the tube. Tube goes right on, and then tighten this down, and you are ready for operation. So now a couple things with the fluids. So looking here in the owner's manual, it does say options for the fluids are liquid paraffin, skincare or industrial glycerin, and baby oil. It says those are all okay. So like I said, baby oil's the easiest to get a hold of, I think. A couple other things. Do not run it for over 8 minutes. So you need to, shut it off and let it cool. 8 minutes is quite a bit of time when you're smoking something. It should only take a couple minutes to fill it. So that's plenty of time. And you probably want to shut it off every now and again. Let's just let that heating element cool down and so forth. I'm pretty practical here, being as that it is a less expensive tool. I'd try to stick to those guidelines pretty well so that you're not, burning up your tool. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and hook it up to the battery. Now once she's hooked up here, pull that around the back. So give it power. And the first thing you'll do is hit air mode. That turns on the little compressor. Now I've got it down here quite a ways. We'll start low and turn on smoke mode. Go ahead and get our tool here. So she's not putting out a whole lot of smoke. We're going to turn it up until we start seeing some residue here. It does take just a minute. So now you can see on the gauge up here, I've got a flow. That's quite a bit of smoke. You turn her all the way up, and smoked out the shop the other day pretty quickly. That is just a ton of smoke right there. So it really does work well. I'm going to go back to a very minor flow here. Now we talked about the gauge. So up here, it's showing that it's just free flow right now. I've got smoke going in. Down here we've got quite a bit. Put your finger on that, and there you go. You can see you start building up pressure pretty quickly here. So this would be like you've got it hooked up once your gas tank and your evap system fill up. It actually does build quite a bit of pressure. And then get a leak, you can see it'll go back down and show you've got flow. So I don't recommend using your finger too much on that, because you will have UV dye on yourself for quite a while after that. So but anyway, so it actually puts out, as you can see, quite a bit of smoke. Now I can turn the smoke mode off, and it's just blowing out air. At that point, go ahead. You can still get some flow. Blow the last little bit of smoke. There's quite a bit of smoke left in there. Just going to blow that out. Clean out the line there. But anyway, that's it. That's the tool. It works really well. So we turn this off, and whew! Oh, it definitely will stink up your area pretty quickly. So I'm very impressed with this tool. I think it's going to do the job. So one moment, and we'll wrap up here. A couple final notes or thoughts, I suppose. All right, so I've got her shut down, a little bit of the smoke out of here, so it does work really well. I'm very impressed with the volume of smoke that it puts out. It's actually, puts out a lot more smoke than even any of the other tools that I've used, even more expensive ones or not. So there's obviously advantage of that is that you can fill a system quickly, and find the solution faster. I suppose the disadvantage, this doesn't put out a ton of pressure, but obviously an evap system, typically you don't want to go over about 3 psi. So 3 to 5 usually. I think this could probably put out enough pressure that you could cause some damage if you were not careful with how you were doing it. But it is nice to be able to quickly fill something, especially if you're leak testing an intake system on a car with a turbo or a supercharger, and you've got intercoolers and downpipes and all that stuff. It's a lot of volume to fill. And some of the machines, if they're putting out a small amount of smoke, it takes forever to fill the darn thing up, and it just doesn't put out enough that you can hardly find the smoke. So this right here really did put out a lot. I used a bright LED flashlight, and you could see the smoke coming off from top of the fuel tank on this vehicle that I used it on the other day, and it really worked quickly. So pretty pleased with that. You don't have to, it's got plenty of adapters with it, and really this guy right here, I can tell you, is going to get used a lot because it's just simple and easy and fast, and you're not, that's the problem with some of the other ones that I've used is you got to have the right adapter, and if you don't have the right adapter, you're spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes trying to find something to make it work to where you can smoke the system properly. And this right here takes a lot of that out of the game. So anyways, hopefully you find this video helpful. I'm gonna get her on YouTube here, and we'll see about if we can get it on Amazon or whatnot. I haven't tried that yet. So that's about it. So if you have any comments or questions or thoughts, let me know down in the comment box. Like the video, please, if it's been helpful in any way. If you want to subscribe, we'll try and continue to do further videos. I probably will get a video at some point of using this on a vehicle. That really wasn't the point of this one. This was just to, you know, if you're looking at getting one of these and you saw it, you're not sure what to think about it, you know, here's the way it works. And so anyways, have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Remember, Car Auto Care you can trust.